In this video, I'm going to be showing you what I have currently inked for the week of August 2nd, 2026, coming up. Here is my currently inked for August 2nd, 2026. Here I have my newest pen. This is an Aurora 88 with this gold striped cap. This has like the most vintage look to it. I think in the Aurora lineup, this kind of looks like an old 88. Now, obviously, it doesn't have a hooded nib, but the reason I bought this is I wanted to have this Aurora Flex nib. Again, I had one a few years ago and I sold it and I kind of missed it. So this combo, the very vintage looking 88 with the flexible gold nib, it's sort of I'll call it my modern vintage looking Aurora. It's a really pretty pen, really nice pen. And then here is also a relatively new pen for me. This was an impulse purchase, I have to be honest. I just really liked the colorway. This is a Nagisawa Star Frost fountain pen. It's, made by Sailor. Obviously, it has a medium nib and it has their little rooster logo on there. It's just a fun, nice pen. This is, at this point, my only Sailor because I've now sold my Tasha and my King of Pen. Just a nice little writer here. I don't know, I just like the colorway, so it was an impulse purchase. Next, I have a Aurora Optima Mini, and I got a new nib for this from FP Nibs. They had a BB nib here, 14 karat gold, really, really nice writing pen. Just an enjoyable little travel pen, piston filler, great little pen. And then I have my 1988 Pelikan M600 with the single tone, 18 karat oblique broad nib. One of my favorite nibs. Super, super nice. And then here I have a Aurora Style. Now this is a special pen for me. I saw this recently on eBay. They haven't made this version in quite a long time. The first ever nice pens that I had were from my parents, and they were an Aurora Style in the same steel finish. However, I had a ballpoint and a roller ball, not a fountain pen, but this is the fountain pen. So this, brings back a lot of memories. Those pens I really just absolutely beat up just terribly. I remember, getting rust on the trim rings. The snap cap started becoming loose. I mean, it still worked, but I just really destroyed those pens. But this one I'm going to try to keep nice. And I've got a 14 karat gold factory italic on here. Again, a very, very nice writing nib and just a beautiful combination for sort of an everyday pen with that sort of exotic nib. And then here I have a Stipula Etruria faceted pen. Every time I think, it's like, oh, should I let this pen go? And then I write with it and it's like, I love the nib on here. I have number 1 of 88, which is kind of cool. This was an Amazon special that I bought very cheaply. It has an 18 karat gold, their in-house 1.1 nib. I did have to have it tuned, but it writes so nice. Yeah, I just love the nib on this pen, and it does look pretty cool, I think. And then next I have a Omas Extra 557. This is a vintage piston filler pen with a really, really nice flexible Omas Extra nib. This is the sort of their big size pen, quite long when posted, but just very, very nice writing pen and a well-made pen. And the next, this is also relatively new. This is my third Montegrappa Fortuna. I really regretted selling the white one that I reviewed quite a long time ago. I haven't seen that one for sale, but I saw this black one with ruthenium trim for a very, very cheap price, brand new. And so I went for it. I really just like the quality and the look of this pen. It's really excellent. The next up is a Mahjong A2. Now, this is basically a copy of the older faceted version of the Namiki Vanishing Point. Now, I recently sold my Namiki Vanishing Point, which was black like this, but it had regular steel trim. And I never used that pen because I just didn't really want to damage it, and I always ended up using my metal bodied vanishing point. Whereas with this one, I don't really worry about it. You know, it can roll around on the desk and I'm not going to be upset about it. It fits all of my Pilot nibs. I do have the Mahjong nib in here right now, which is an extra fine. I did have to send the first one that I bought back because I could not get it to write no matter what I did to it. However, this one writes beautifully. And, you know, it does seem like it's made pretty well. It seals well. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with this pen, and I don't feel too guilty buying, you know, a quote-unquote copy because Pilot doesn't make the version of this pen anymore. And then up next, I have the Mahjong B32. This is a copy of an old Montblanc pen with a butterfly nib and what do they call it? The bishop's nib? I can't remember. Anyway, it's this kind of neat semi-hooded nib. They've really kind of just straight up copied the design. However, they haven't made these pens in decades now, so I don't feel bad about enjoying a cheap version of it. It's made decently well. We'll see how it holds up. It does have a little ink window here, just like the Montblanc would have. It's just a nice everyday pen, and I really like the modern design of it. I never bought one of the original Montblanc ones just because I figured the way that I would want to be using that pen, I'd be kind of beating up something that, you know, you can't necessarily easily replace. They did make a good number of the Montblanc version of this pen, but they're getting scarcer as time goes on. So kind of cool that they made something interesting like this. You know, Mahjong, they also have done a remake, probably actually a better version of the Omas 360. I kind of like this. I'm not really against these sort of remakes. I think they're pretty fun. And then finally, I have the Asvine J16. Now, my first one I ended up giving away when the piston mechanism came apart. I was like just annoyed with it. But then I was really hunting for a good Jowo number 6 threaded piston filler pen. And I don't know, I just had a hard time finding one that I wanted. So I've gone again for one of these. And if it falls apart again, I'll put it back together. Or if it goes in the bin, I will really not buy another one of these. I've got a Waterman 100-year vintage nib on here, and this writes really beautifully. Okay, let's do the writing sample. First up, we have the Aura 88 with flex nib. The Nagisawa Star Frost with medium nib, and this is the Papermind Ran Blue, a beautiful blue ink. Aurora Optima Mini BB with Iroshizuku Konpeki. Pelikan M600 from 1988 with an oblique broad nib and Sailor Yamadori ink. Aurora Style with a 14 karat gold factory italic and Iroshizuku Tsukiyo ink. Stipula Etruria with a 1.1mm stub and Sailor Irori ink. Vintage Omas Extra 557 with Waterman Mysterious Blue. Montegrappa Fortuna with a fine nib and Sailor Kiwaguro Pigment ink. Mahjong A2 Extra Fine with Iroshizuku Takesumi. Mahjong B32 with a fine nib and the Papermind Ran Blue ink. Asvine J16 with 14 karat gold Waterman 100 year nib and Baroque Burgundy ink. Also available at the Papermind. This is Baroque Burgundy. Those are my currently inked fountain pens for the week of August 2nd, 2026. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like button, and if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.